everyone. Welcome back to my new series where I react to the asinine things that cult leaders say. Today, we are going to react to some of Bentinho Massaro's YouTube videos. Now, if you don't know who Bentinho is, you can check out this deep dive I did on him. Multiple survivors have spoken out. I will link those resources down below. But allegedly, this man is responsible for not just the death of a follower because of the dangerous rhetoric that Bentinho shares, basically encouraging people to unalive themselves, but he also has faced allegations of SA, manipulation, and coercive control. So I thought, let's pick a point, the BS that he is spewing today. And there's a couple other updates I wanted to share with you about this individual, so you know that if you see his face pop up on your For You page, you know to just keep on scrolling. Now, if you're new here, thank you all so much for being here. My name is Erin, and I am fascinated by all things cults, true crime, and unique spiritual practices. This is one of my more snarky videos, but I do post deep dives every single Saturday on a different cult or dangerous group or person of my choosing, and I also share cult survivor stories every single Thursday. So if you're interested in that sort of content, I would love to see you hit that subscribe button. So before we jump into today's video, I want to share today's single parent. Now, I know this intro's been a little bit long, but before we jump in, I need to share today's single parent's Amazon wish list. Today's parent is Alexis. Hi, Erin. I'm a new subscriber. Welcome. And enjoy your content, particularly your ability to balance advocacy, empathy, and accountability in your commentary. Not an easy endeavor. Wow, that's really sweet. Thank you so much. As I'm about to snark on a cult leader. I saw you bless another single mom like myself in your recent video and figured I'd send you an email in the hopes of giving my son the Christmas he deserves. Our world changed in the summer of 2024 when, over the course of 48 hours, my son lost. Oh my God, my heart just dropped. My son lost the ability to walk, talk, swallow, and breathe. Oh, whew, okay. Whew, wow. Oh my God, sorry. That's really sad. I should have read this before filming. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was horrifying to watch Ooh! That is really sad. I'm so sorry. Okay. Aaron, get it together. It was horrifying to watch the progression as his parent sitting at his bedside at the PICU. I can't even imagine how terrifying the experience was for the previously healthy 8-year-old boy going through it. Ultimately, my son was diagnosed with autoimmune encephalitis, which will continue to affect him for the rest of his life. The last year has been filled with countless hours of OT, PT, and IEP meetings to help him relearn the skills lost due to inflammation in his brain. Now that we've officially survived, we are adjusting to this new normal of what it means to live with a chronic illness. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. That's got to be so hard, for him, for you. It's got to be so hard. This Christmas will be the first major holiday my son will be fully present for, and for that reason alone, I know it will be memorable, but I can't help but want to make it more special for him. As a single mom, I am limited by one income and the mountain of medical bills I've accumulated over this journey, not to mention the high deductible come January and every other month MRI. Using your platform to help women who fight tirelessly to provide for their children is generous and inspiring. Oh, whether or not you choose to share my son's story and wish list, I cannot wait to be in a position, hopefully the next couple years, to pay it forward. I wanted to briefly share an update I received on November 29th. I had recorded this video prior to Thanksgiving, and Alexis emailed me a few days later. She unfortunately mentioned that her son has relapsed and is likely too sick to return to school, which is going to limit her ability to work. She says this relapse has been scary. All of the kids went back to school today except for mine. I officially quit my job. I had no choice, and unless I find a remote job, I won't be able to provide for us while this relapse continues. I tried hard to come up with a list of needs for myself, but I'm sure other moms can relate to having no clue what they want or need.
All I want is to be able to find a cure for my son while keeping food on the table and a roof over our heads. I know I'll be spending a lot of this time in the hospital brainstorming ways to financially keep us afloat and pay for treatment. If the solution was something I could add to my Amazon wish list, I could. She ends her email with saying, "There will never be enough thank yous." In addition to her Amazon wish list below, I wanted to invite my viewers to share any remote opportunities that Alexis might be able to apply for in the responses to the pinned comment down below. She's asking for more than just gifts this holiday season. If you are a person who prays, please consider sending her and her son a prayer as well. Thank you all so much.
Wow, that I haven't been so hit by a story before. My heart really goes out to you. That's got to be so hard to witness and so scary for your little boy who probably has no idea what's going on. Um, I'll share your Amazon wish list in the pinned comment down below. If you have the means or interest this holiday season, please consider purchasing an item on the wish list. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Wow, it was really, really touching, and I'm sure it will touch someone else in the audience. Man, I need to take a second to recover from that. Um, I just know that that can be so scary. Like, that's just so scary. And a little boy, a little kid, they don't know how to tell you what's wrong. So I can only imagine how scary that moment was for you when that happened. And I'm sure some of my wonderful supporters will click on that Amazon wish list and hopefully create the best Christmas ever for your children. All right, everyone. Time to make fun of a cult leader. Woo, that got me. That got me. Okay. We are going to cleanse the palate. Let's hear what Bentinho has to say about instant freedom. This video is titled Resolve Everything in a Single Moment. Wow. How easy.
A complex situation that causes you suffering. Drop everything you think in that moment, not away from that moment, in the very presence of that moment with all the appearances exactly as they are, simply minus your indulgence in the mental descriptions. Drop everything you think you know, but still stay present to the situation as it arises. And instead you shift your attention for that moment from story to presence.
My brain already hurts. He is the master of word salad. I don't know what he just tried to say. Does anyone want to interpret? I feel like I'm trying to listen to somebody speak in a different language.
Everything you want, everything you seek, everything you struggle with, all of it for you shall be resolved in a single moment of pure recognition.
Oh my god, he talks so slow. Sorry. I'm like, what you trying to say, buddy? What you trying to say? Do you know what you're trying to say? I don't think you do.
Recognition. And this you can demonstrate to yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. In fact, I prefer that you don't. So test this out. Take a scenario that you do not prefer. Some kind of conflict, perhaps, in
God, not the cigar. Not the unlit cigar. Also, I feel like his eyes keep dropping down, so I think he has some type of prompter, but it's super disconnected from cuz I mean, I use a teleprompter in my deep dives, but it makes it so I'm looking at the lens, you know? I think you can kind of see me reading a little bit, but I'm not like, "Hey guys, here's my story about the cult called," and then continue. This guy needs like some caffeine or like, I don't know, maybe he's not eating carbs. I don't know what's going on. God, this guy's so self indulgent. So self indulgent. Don't worry, Bentinho. We have all the time in the world to watch you smoke a cigar.
This scenario is an act, a product of your imagination, of your ability to project onto this natural awareness whatever you so choose to project or imagine. Imagination equals projection, at least in this context. And so now that you have this scenario in mind, something you do not prefer, something that you are challenged by, something that seems to cause you suffering, take 2 to 5 seconds. In other words, take a moment to drop everything you think you know and recognize this primordial clarity, this space like, sky like cognizance, which hears my voice with zero effort. Right there in those 2 to 5 seconds, your entire situation was resolved.
Please tell that to the mother of a child that was just diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Like, some of these. Okay, so I feel like over the years, we've seen this wave of like new age young people who are either trying to be life coaches or create retreats for their followers online, and they're always young and attractive, and they pretend they have the secret code to life. And I'm like, it's because you have never seen a single second of adversity in your entire life. You are not a minority. You likely grew up with privilege, and you think that literally every single thing can be solved. Every issue, every grievance, every moment of pain can be solved if you just sit in silence and listen to one of these BS videos. Give me a break. You obviously have never seen true challenge. You've never seen true grief. You've never seen true sadness, frustration, anger, stress, fear. How dare you say that that's all it takes? Are you crazy? You are crazy. I mean, I gotta say, I think you're crazy. Everything I say in this video is my opinion, by the way, for legal purposes. I have to say that.
Now you might then say, or the mind might object and say, well, that's wishful thinking. Sure, I can tune it out for a moment. But wouldn't that just be an avoidance for 2 to 5 seconds? After which I then claim that the problem has been resolved, whereas that situation still exists, and the moment I think of it, it causes me problems and suffering yet again. Valid objection. However, this is where I want you to understand the 2 to 5 second practice and the science of instant enlightenment or self-liberation more clearly. You did not avoid.
I love when people like this call it a science. It's definitely not. Definitely not a science. Maybe pseudoscience. Maybe.
You let it be exactly as it is. Now, one way to do this is to drop everything you think you know. But with practice of recognizing, having been introduced, having been initiated by yourself to the natural state, when you've had a few of those confirming, confidence inspiring moments, that liberation is yours for the taking. By in a complex situation that causes you suffering, to to drop everything you think and recognize in that moment, not away from that moment, in the very presence of that moment with all the appearances exactly as they are, simply minus your indulgence in the mental descriptions. And
This is exactly what I mean when I say cult leaders say a lot of stuff that doesn't really make sense. And then they want you to pay for their courses to gain clarity on the bullshit they're spewing that does not make sense. Or they invite you to come pay for a talk that they're hosting so you can ask questions because they do not make sense. This this doesn't make sense. The only thing I can think of, like the only point I think he's trying to make is that if you are in a moment that's uncomfortable and you don't get out of that moment, then you're essentially going to suffer, which to the cult leader means you're choosing to suffer because you didn't pull yourself out of the moment and resolve it in a second. If you have an emotional reaction and you don't pause and wait and understand that it's not so bad, it's your fault. It's your fault for suffering, not the thing that someone did to you, not the thing that this cult leader did to you, because this guy has done some disgusting things to women. Disgusting things. Horrific things. So if I was a woman he'd done disgusting things to, and I said, hey, that thing you did made me feel really uncomfortable and made me feel really bad about myself, this guy would most likely turn it around on me. Oh, well, you didn't pause in that moment, did you? To just exist with nothing and drop everything you know, did you? Sounds like a you problem. It's like, no, dude, you just did something horrific to me. You just did something sexually implicit to me that was uninvited. I don't want it, but it's my fault that I'm reacting this way because I'm not willing to pause and forget everything I know. Give me a break.
drop everything you think you know, but still stay present to the situation as it arises. And instead, you shift your attention for that moment from story to presence. The presence of what? The natural presence of a timeless, sentient beauty, a spontaneously present intelligence that is here right now, hearing my voice without effort. It cannot be denied. You cannot experience without it. It is always present, therefore, throughout each and every experience, no matter the shape it takes, no matter how long the problem appears to last. And when you shift your emphasis,
God, he really thinks he's profound, doesn't he? He really thinks he's saying so much. I didn't know people could talk this slowly. I didn't realize it. Talk about self indulgence. Jesus Christ, man.
that's all it is. It's a shifting of emphasis from what you think you know, you arrogant SOB, to the humility and innate purity present in this instinctual recognition of that which knows your present experience without effort. You're not avoiding anything. You're not replacing anything. You're not playing with words or labels. You're not changing it from bad to
You sure are, buddy. You sure are. Jeez. God. I feel like if I was at a seminar and he was talking like this, I would literally be looking around the room like, somebody make eye contact with me because this is being crazy. Somebody who think that crazy town? Are we in crazy town? Holy moly.
good. You're not doing an imaginative exercise trying to attract something better to yourself. Enlightenment is not about that. That's a valid practice for its own purposes. But it is not the practice of enlightenment, and it does not lead you to ultimate liberation, which you do deserve and which you do secretly seek, whether you know this or not. After
So now you're telling me what I want. Okay. Not everybody wants to seek enlightenment, bro. Oh my gosh. I want to make a nice lengthy video, but I'm like, I don't know if I feel like my brain is getting tied up into knots right now.
you have introduced yourself to a clear, lucid moment of primordial freedom, formlessness, definitionless being, referenceless awakeness, pure costless joy, humility, gratitude, all in one. You will see that that situation is now rendered absolutely pure.
Oh good, this guy's doing retreats still. Even though people have literally unalived themselves at his retreats. Honestly, I don't know if I can even handle another one of him. I might not be able to finish it. You're welcome. This one's called Lust versus Love. What do we truly desire in a romantic relationship? Cool, he's going to tell us. Awesome. I don't think he's ever loved anyone more than himself, though.
The human in you doesn't want God. The part of you that wants God is God. The part of you that really wants that love is love itself. There is only love itself. So the more you connect to that love, the more you surrender to that love, and it can be bit by bit if you want. Surrendering your insistence, your attachment to your ideas about yourself, who you are as a person, as a spiritual being on a journey, and all that fluff. Why not become empty and surrender to God right now, knowing that that's already what you are and that that's what will remain when you let go of everything that's not true? What are we trying to look for in a partner? What are we trying to look for in relationship? Beyond the, or in addition to, or other than the sexual magnetism, which is simply physics, okay? It's metaphysics. It's energetic polarization. It's like magnets. You can't avoid it. If there is some match between a plus and a minus, if there is a masculine and feminine polarity in the room, and if they're both accentuated enough in their own degree, in their own polarity, then there will be a magnetism to some degree. This is physics. This has got very little to do with the concept or agreement of a relationship or a partnership or a marriage, okay? You can be attracted to virtually anybody magnetically in the physics of it, just energetic polarities. That's just how it works, pluses and minuses, protons.
Can you say something? Like, can you say something of importance? I understand that finding a romantic partner is a big question mark on a lot of people. It is a big pillar of our lives. It's a big pillar of what makes human beings satisfied with their lives. A lot of us really, really desire that companionship, that person that we can turn to any moment of any day, the person who will support us and lift us up, and we do the same for them. I think in general, trying to like qualify the thing that people want and make it and generalize what that is for everybody is so misguided and so because it's so individual. Every individual human being is seeking out different specifics and dynamics within their relationship, and that is okay. That's enough. Yes, there is that, what feels like intense chemistry, that pull towards somebody sometimes doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be a good partner. It could just mean, oh, right, this is a primal desire that I have, and I need to know that I can't act on it or won't act on it, or I get to act on it depending on the circumstances of your situation and if you're unattached, all of that stuff. But, like, just this guy, can you say something? Just say anything. I feel like he's constantly trying to look like he is just so smart. And if you don't fully understand what he's saying and how he's saying it, you're not smart enough. You're not enlightened enough. You don't get it enough. It's just so exhausting to listen to him.
Electrons. It's a subatomic thing. It's a core structure of this illusion. Plus and minus, plus and minus, plus and minus. It constantly works together, bounces off of each other. It orbits around each other. It produces work. Without that, there wouldn't be any kinetic production. In the illusion, there wouldn't be any movement or work. So it's a beautiful, natural, physics-based thing. There's nothing wrong with attraction. You can't help it. Literally, you can't help it. It's an energetic thing. It doesn't matter what you think. This is why there's so much cheating and there's so much infidelity and all that stuff. It's because we're trying to fight gravity. We're trying to fight physics.
People cheat because they can't fight physics. No, people cheat because they're listening to their desires over their head and their logic, because you don't just fall into bed with somebody, you make the active decision to go do it. Me and my husband have this conversation all the time, and honestly, as somebody who was like very, very insecure for a very, very long time, switching this thought in my head really helped me become more secure in my relationship, because I used to be of the mindset like, if he sees any other woman as attractive, he's not for me. I'm the only one he should ever think is attractive, beautiful. I should be the only person that he ever desires. But once I started recognizing, like, well, there are attractive people in the world. I see attractive people. He sees attractive women. And he's choosing me every single day, just like I'm choosing him. And that made me feel a lot more secure than just like pretending other women don't exist. I don't know if that makes sense for you or it resonates at all, but I know for me, the more realistic I am, the more confident I am in my relationship, because I'm like, look, I trust that he is going to see other women. He might want to approach another woman, but he's not going to do it because I know he'll choose me. Because I also trust myself enough to know that it doesn't matter what force bigger than me, what, gravitational pull I feel towards some hot guy in a room. I'm never going to approach the person because I love my husband. And it's not like oh my God, a big resistance. It's just like, oh, hot guy. Cool. I'm married and I love my husband and I would never want to hurt him or give up what we have. But he's framing it as if, like, look, you can't stop. You can't stop. It's science. It's just going to happen. If you're going to cheat, it's just atoms colliding. Oops.
Which is fine. We can do that if we really have a good purpose for being in a monogamous relationship. Then we can agree upon that. There are harmonious, beautiful, purposeful reasons to agree to be monogamous. But sexual energy itself cannot be suppressed by any agreement. It can be suppressed by the will of the adept. But ideally, it's channeled in a way that seems suitable to your journey and that serves a purpose. But it shouldn't be suppressed. And it can't be suppressed, is my point. Can you suppress gravity? Can you suppress magnetism?
I did not know this was going to go into a pro cheating webinar. But okay, here we go, Bentinho.
No, similarly, you cannot suppress sexual magnetism or attraction. It's an energetic phenomena. It's beyond the physical level. That's where it originates. So that's one thing. I just wanted to kind of separate that for a second and deconflate that with the concept of a partnership. So, but what do we seek for in a loving, committed kind of relationship or partnership? And that is God's love. What we are seeking for is God's love. So the question is the same regardless of whether we think of it in terms of why do I fear opening up to this other person or this relationship? Why do I go into fight or flight mode? Why do I get super anxious about it, or why do I get super avoidant of it? Or sometimes both, even worse and more distracting and unpredictable, anxious and avoidant.
Gosh, it's so annoying when they use therapy speak, weaponizing therapy speak. I want to just go back to something he said earlier because first of all, I feel like every spiritual person who starts out new age, they end up finding that like a better target audience is people who believe in God. And so then they tie everything into God. I mean, we saw it with Twin Flames Universe, with Jeff and Shalia, all of a sudden being God. And we're going to talk later about like how his new ideology, Bentinho's new ideology is like, well, you are God and God is you. But previously, when he was discussing this like magnetic pull and how you can't, resist gravity and attraction, what if the other person isn't attracted to you, bro? What if they want nothing to do with you? What if they do not want your attraction? They don't want your attention. Do you just do it anyways because, oh, it's just a gravitational pull? These are the non-specific types of speeches and talks that cult leaders do. They're so non-specific that they justify bad behavior if the follower is interested in doing that bad behavior, or it justifies his own bad behavior. I'm coming to realize any spiritual leader, any cult leader, anytime that they are demonizing some kind of behavior, or like anytime they are sharing something that's kind of inflammatory or surprising about human behavior, where like a reasonable ethical person would be like, I disagree. I think it's pretty easy to resist cheating on somebody. Like you made a deal together to not do that. It's going to justify when the leader cheats, or it's going to justify how the leader is non-monogamous, or it's going to justify how the leader wants to, I don't know, for example, brand women X, Y, and Z. Not saying he has, I'm just referring to Nexium because we've covered a lot of Nexium stuff over the last couple weeks. But it's just like so hard to wrap your brain around the things he says because he just talks in these riddles.
The further extrapolation and compounding of your own thoughts and ideas and preferences and fears and so on. But at the heart of it, you are God in confused state. These teachings are all about becoming God in unconfused state. It's that simple. Either way, you are God.
So if I'm afraid of being in a relationship, I am confused God. And the goal is to just be God and love someone and be in a relationship. I disagree. This is one of the craziest things I've ever listened to. I feel like my eyes are just glossing over because I'm like, am I able to listen anymore? Like, what is this?
Either way, you are essentially enlightened, if you will. Although the term enlightenment refers to the process of unconfusing yourself. You can be God in confused state or God in unconfused state. One is samsara, delusion, suffering, and the other is liberation and clarity and so on, love. So why does God in confused state, aka the human identity, fear God in unconfused state? That's essentially the question. Because it wants it, it seeks it, otherwise you wouldn't have any interest in partnership with another human being, or you wouldn't have any interest in God or seeking awareness and enlightenment and so on. So clearly, God in confused state, aka your human mental day-to-day awareness, for the most part, probably, depending on who you are, why is God in confused state seeking God in unconfused state, but fearing it? Well, the answer lies in the confusion. In the confusion, you have mistakenly
This is so stupid. None of this is tangible advice to give to somebody who wants to have a relationship. This is so, so stupid. I am so aggravated at how dumb this is. I can't even come up with a proper response to try to debunk it. I guess here's the thing. Cult leaders, a lot of spiritual leaders, they're trying to give you advice that sounds profound. When honestly, really, if you just went to a therapist, they might say, well, let's try to understand why you're fearful of a relationship. Have you been harmed in the past? This guy is just you're confused and you want to not be confused. So if you not want to be confused, you got to stop being confused. Okay? And is acting like he just said something divine and profound. You've said nothing, bro. You have said nothing. You've just sucked on your cigar for 12 minutes saying nothing.
Identified your true nature with something it is not. After doing that for long enough, believing that you are the physical sensations, believing that
He just wants you to not be in reality. He's like, everything you see and you hear, non-existent. Because you're God. Okay. I can't. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to finish this video because there's something else I want to show you guys that I think you'll really like or dislike. So apparently this past fall, Bentinho did a 9-day silent retreat in the desert with him and I think about 20 people. This is what he has shared about it before it happens, okay? Over the coming days, most of our team will commence the 9-day desert immersion for a period of silence and contemplation. From October 24th to November 1st, we will take a break from engaging with the noise of day-to-day life and turn our gazes inward. You are welcome to join us in spirit. We will share daily pointers from the 55 Keys to Awakening from Bentinho's new Me book. Yeah, he wrote a book called Me. Yep, it's called Me. Here's a quote from Bentinho. These keys are designed to actively relay your attention towards a direct perception of a deeper actuality beyond your conceptual thinking and sensory interpretations of reality. Hence, the purpose here is to go experiential as opposed to conceptual or intellectual. We invite you to spend as much time in silence as you can during these 9 days, even if you're busy. Create time to be still and tune in to our silent desert intention from wherever you are. So here's the first meditative thought that he wanted to impose for his followers who did this 9-day desert retreat. Key number 4. Identify that about you which never changes. Something about you has never left you and has never been altered by appearances or experiences. Can you identify this changeless isness? I'm sorry. God. Noticed as a subtle but clear sense of aware presence, hiding in plain sight at the basis of your every experience, or as in an essential background feeling of existing, infused with a self knowing quality. Changeless, already aware, I amness. And that's not to say maybe some of these questions can't be great for journaling, but man, this guy likes to just talk and write and say just I didn't know you could use so many words and say nothing at all. This was day 2. Whatever you perceive, you are not. Netty netty. In response to whatever you are witnessing, know that you cannot be whatever you can perceive. A perception, no matter what it is, proves that it cannot really capture or define you by the very fact that it is transient perception, and thus implies that you are not it, but rather the power that is aware of it. This is also from Bentinho's book, Me, a book about you. Key number 15 for Desert Silence Day 3. Keep inquiring, what is actually me? Is this book actually you? Is that table actually you? Is your current thought actually you? Is your current emotion or sensation actually you? Is your phone actually you? Is your neighbor actually you? Is your city actually you? Is your spiritual progress actually you? Keep inquiring like this until you feel your I amness as existing transcendently and independently free of appearances, as if in its own domain of unaffected being. Well, I definitely know this phone is not me. This blanket is not me. What is that? This microphone is not me. Or maybe it is. Day 4. Try not to be aware. Mentally, try as hard as you can to not be aware and keep checking in with your direct experience to see if it's working. Thus, you will become naturally convinced through inevitable obviousness of the already constant nature of your essential aware self. Find your awareness by not being aware. God, I feel like I'm suffocating because this is so stupid. Desert Silence Day 5. Decide to see me more clearly than ever before. Raise your desire for absolute self clarity. Decide to take a moment where you aim to sense, see, or know your innermost existence or I amness as clearly as you possibly can. Do this with the intention to really see it, your actual real self, more purely than you ever have before. A single powerful moment of gathered up will and determination. God. I feel like people are going to get so messed up going on this retreat. Their brain is going to be like whatever the opposite of fried is, melted. It just feels like this is it's like he's telling you to not be cerebral while making you be cerebral. And then it feels really confusing in your head. This is so strange. Day 6. See awareness as the final object or final sensation. When awareness or God becomes known to you as an object, since even awareness appears to you and is describable as an experience to you, you have begun to elevate yourself beyond the level of self-knowing, I amness. You have delivered yourself to the doorstep of the third elevation, which takes you beyond experience land. Experience land. Okay. Initially and for the longest time, the cognizance we feel as the power of being aware seems to us like it's the absolute subject with a capital, and we see that everything that it perceives is part of the world of objects within this great subject. It is our abode of permanent, causeless happiness, typically for a long time. However, when we penetrate the membrane of awareness as we know it, we begin to sense and realize that even the all encompassing beingness, which appears to be self aware, is itself still the subtlest object or thing in all of existence. A quality, being aware, is still a thing. Thus, the aware unity basis of all things also turns out to be a thing itself. Guys! God is still a perception to you as the absolute. You know what I'm perceiving and aware of? You being an asshole, Bentinho. Even awareness itself is an appearance to your absolute me, just as any sensation is an appearance. This subtlest of all sensations, awareness, is itself a sensation appearing to you, but never affecting or reaching your absolute nature. I am so exhausted. Desert Silence Day 7. Maintain I am as a shield between you, absolute, and all experiences. Keep noticing as clearly as you can that all experiences pertain only to I am, beingness, consciousness, or awareness, but you exist pre awareness. By seeing that all experiences happen to and within awareness or I am, only you can begin to distinguish your absolute self from the awareness which contains all experiences, while you yourself are thus shielded from being pulled into the delusive assumption that experiences happen to you as the absolute. They don't. Where do experiences happen? To whom? To awareness. This guy's really thinking, he's really like, I am doing something. You're definitely doing something. It's not the right thing, though. It is not good. Day 8. Nothing ever happened. Imagine the entire universe was never born at all, that nothing whatsoever had ever happened, not even so much as the thought of anything having ever occurred anywhere. Then see that all there truly is the timeless eternity of your perfect, indescribably peaceful, and infinite void like, space like self. Be the one before creation was even a thought. I don't want to be in a void like space. No, thank you. And day 9. Become aware of your background tensions in this moment and give them back to life. Donate your little controlling mind to God. Release all of your little self, including all sensations and feelings of self, back to source. Disown your assumed right to control and hold opinions or preferences about against life in any way, shape, or form. Just for a moment. Then enjoy, revel in the natural innocence, compassion, and clarity that is revealed through such faith-filled act of surrendering all control, stress, and concern. Uh I really can't stand the ideology of not letting anything ever affect you. The thing that's so beautiful about being human is that we are emotional beings. Things are going to trigger us. We're going to have feelings. We're going to get excited and happy and sad and angry, and the full spectrum of emotion is beautiful. But when you detach yourself from all emotions and just live in this void, as he's saying, I feel like you really start detaching from yourself. You aren't able to love fully. You aren't able to get excited. You aren't able to get sad. And I understand that there are some feelings that are really difficult to deal with: grief, sadness, anger, pain. All of those are so difficult to actually move through and work through. But encouraging somebody or anybody to detach themselves from all feeling, then you kind of stop being human. Do you not want to be affected by anything? Because think about what you lose if you lose that connection to yourself, to your feeling, and you just want to be in this void and you pretend none of that matters. You lose the joy from hearing your favorite song. You lose the happy tears when you see a loved one after not seeing them for a long time. You lose that warm feeling of hugging somebody you love. You lose looking at the leaves falling in fall with wonderment and nostalgia. When you hear your child's laugh and it fills you with joy, you start losing all of these beautiful things, all to detach to some of those negative feelings. And that's why anytime someone's a seeker, I think it's great. If you're a spiritual seeker, if you want to better yourself, you want to connect to your awareness, I think that's incredible. I am kind of on an inward journey myself right now. There's been a lot of transition over the last couple months in my own life, and I'm really trying to spend more time journaling and understanding myself and why I react the way I do and why I work the way I do. All these things. And I think that's good. I think that's healthy. But I will always encourage people, if you're feeling like you're missing something and you feel like you are becoming a seeker, a lot of these spiritual leaders like to, you know, put a seeker up on a pedestal. I think we're all seekers in a way. But I think the only way out of some of these negative emotions and feelings is to move through it, to understand it, and honestly connect to it so that next time something big happens in your life, you have more tools to navigate it in a more healthy way instead of just being like, nope, I'm abandoning myself, all feeling everything. I don't want to feel anything. I want to be completely detached. That's just not a life I would want to live. And I know this guy he drives me crazy. He's done some terrible things. Again, my deep dives will be listed in the description, and I did link some of them throughout the video if you want to learn more. There have been some great podcasts that have been basically whistleblowers speaking out against him, people who were in his inner circle that you should listen to. I'll leave those resources in the pinned comment as well. And of course, our Amazon wish list from our lovely parent. Please do not forget to support her and her family this holiday season. Thank you guys all so much for your time and your attention. I really, really appreciate it. Please stay safe out there, ask questions, and always stay skeptical. I'll see you in my next video soon. Bye.